Yo, it's Guts here from Ganbaru Gaming. If you guys have been struggling with Winston in the stadium and struggling to find a truly good build for Winston, I've got you guys covered with the best Winston build in stadium. I call this the electric thunder god. No, it's just the electric raid boss build for Winston, because truly when you get it all working together, Winston just generates so much electric damage, so much electric overhealth, lifesteal, regen, anti-healing, just everything you could ask for in a build, and he truly becomes a raid boss when this build all synergizes together. Alright, I've made a saved build for you guys, and I will leave the one-time code for the build in the description below so you guys can save this and use it yourselves. Now let's dive into the build round per round, and then we'll break down counter matchups, gameplay and everything else. So round one, I like to start off with Circuit Breaker. You can buy weapon damage, weapon lifesteal. Lifesteal stacks very well with the overhealth from the electric damage. And then from your final item, go into the survival tab, grab either a heartbeat sensor or siphon gloves. I would recommend looking at the enemy team and looking at what kind of playstyle you want to play against them. If you're going to dive in with melee a lot, then take siphon gloves. If not, take heartbeat sensor. That's just going to help you rotate around the map with the movement speed, and it's going to help you, peak your bubble and have some good Winston gameplay with your bubble. Now round two, assuming you had a decent round, grab talent modification for more weapon damage. That more weapon damage is just going to help you stack Circuit Breaker, the overhealth on that faster. After that, sell heartbeat sensor to get us some more cash. And then if they have anyone with armor or shields in their team, like a Sigma, Reinhardt, Zarya, whoever, grab Shield Buster. If they don't have anyone with armor or shield, and say it's like a Queen, Junker Queen you're up against, then grab Aftermarket Firing Pin instead. Alright, now round three, you have your next power, grab Electro Cluster. This is just going to give you more range, and it's going to allow you to cleave more people with more damage. And cleaving more people with that extra range is going to help you secure some kills, while also it's going to help you get more overhealth for Circuit Breaker. Again, more synergy here. And then for items, buy Icy Coolant. The 5% cooldown is going to help you get more bubbles and more jumps to help you play Winston better. Final item, either grab Shield Buster. Again, if they don't have anyone with armor or shields, then grab Stockpile. Now for round four, sell Compensator and grab Gibraltar Generator. This is going to give you an insane damage spike in weapon damage and just allow you to pump out a lot more damage while you're in your barrier. Now round five, this is where you start to really synergize with your build and just become like an absolute raid boss. So now we are going to grab Tesla Field. Although Tesla Field says it does 40 electric ability damage, that electric damage actually counts towards the overhealth you get from electric damage from Circuit Breaker. So you can start to see here it's all starting to synergize. And now we want to sell Stockpile and grab, over in the survival tab, grabs Phantasmic Flux. If you've been playing Stadium a lot, you know how OP Phantasmic Flux is. It's just going to help a lot. Phantasmic Flux has lifesteal from your weapon and lifesteal from your ability damage. So you'll get lifesteal from both Tesla Field and your primary fire. And now that we have lifesteal from that, we no longer need Plasma Converter, so you can sell Plasma Converter. If you've been playing Winston well, you can probably afford Simian supplements now in the survival tab for a bigger barrier, meaning much more duration on your barrier, and it'll be harder to break for guys like McCree or any character that can break barriers easily. So grab Simian supplements. If you can't afford Simian supplements, then just grab any blue for weapon damage or any green for weapon damage. Then round six comes along. At this point, the build starts to really ramp up and synergize even more and more. So at this point, I like to sell talent modification, and I like to sell aftermarket firing pin. With that, I will get more items from the saved build here. I've tried to put the items as in order of priority as much as possible. So I will grab Cyber Venom, and then with that, I will grab Super Flexor. Sometimes I can finish the build completely and even grab Martian Mender by round 6. But assuming the game hasn't gone that well, you should be able to at least grab Cyber Venom and Super Flexor. This will synergize with the bubble damage the bubble damage, each time that ticks every second for everyone in it, they will get anti-heal applied to them. And also, since you're using your Tesla cannon a lot and it does so many hits, you're pretty much always going to have full stacks or super flexor, meaning you're always going to have 25% ability damage and also the 10% damage from super flexor. So you can start to see that's all synergizing together. As well, you've got 5% cooldown reduction from Cyber Venom and 5% cooldown reduction from Icy Coolant. So 10% cooldown reduction, meaning more bubbles, more jumps, and just more Winston gameplay. Alright, now the final round. At this point, you become full build and you become an absolute menace to the enemy team. So now you grab Surge Protector. This gives you overhealth while you're in your barrier. And this overhealth stacks on top of every other overhealth that you've got in this build. And it also gives your allies overhealth as well as if they're in the barrier. So it can synergize well with some characters. So Surge Protector, then you want to sell Icy Coolant and grab your final item, which will be a survival item, Martian Mender. That's going to give you 10% cooldown reduction and 3% life regen every second. So just tons of survivability and cooldown reduction for more bubbles. So this is going to be the full build. It costs 60k, quite a cheap build to get online. So that's why sometimes if you've done well in your game and earn like 10k every round, you're gonna have this build online by round 6. But if you get to round 7 and you're ultra rich and you want to go past this and make the build even stronger, then the items you're going to want to buy, you're going to want to swap Gibraltar Generator for Eye of the Spider. This is a straight up upgrade in terms of weapon damage. And then you're going to want to swap Super Flexor for Champion's Kit. Again, straight up upgrade. With this build compared to the last build items, you lose 5% weapon damage, but you gain 10% ability power on Champion's Kit, and you don't have to rely on the passive from Super Flexor to keep up that ability power. So it's a straight up upgrade. Now a little showcase here. If you're stacking the overhealth to the absolute maximum, you guys are going to see here that I'm at 1200 life. And now if I ult, I'm at 2000 life. With Martian Mender, 3% of that life also regens every second. So you are just an absolute unkillable menace when it comes to round 7. Before we jump onto some gameplay, I want to touch upon counter building and matchups. So against most tank lineups, against most tanks you're going to face like Diva, Zarya, Orisa, all that kind of stuff, you're going to build this build as normal. However, against a Reinhardt and a Junker Queen, I've actually found more success taking the Tesla field first. Now because Tesla field scales off of ability power, you're not actually going to build ability power because it takes a lot of ability power for this to scale. So instead, just continue building weapon damage. But that Tesla field, the 40 damage per second from your barrier, is just going to help control space and deter the tanks from coming against you. Because if a Reinhardt comes at you or a Junker Queen comes at you and you've got this bubble doing damage per second plus your primary fire, that's a lot of damage. And if they come into that and your team is also firing at them, that's enough damage to just instantly take out those tanks. If you're going the bubble first, take the Circuit Breaker, and at round 3 and round 4 it also means you can buy Phantasmic Flux earlier, as that will synergize with this build quicker. Alright, now for some other counter building options. If they have 2 or more people on their team with armor, you can get Codebreaker. If they have an Ana and an Ashe with like detrimental effects like burning and anti-nade, then get Cushion Padding. If they have a Reaper, the only character I've really found this worth buying against is a Reaper. I found dealing with Diva with this build is just fine. But if they have a Reaper who is solely focusing you and constantly up in your face, then I found Smart Armor to be very effective on the Survival tab. This means when you're below 50% health, you take 25% less damage from shotguns. So this really helps me a lot when I'm playing against Reaper. And finally, if you're up against like a full weapon damage team, let's say you're up against a Reinhardt, a Cassidy, a Reaper, or a Diva, Cassidy, Reaper, a Freya, and they're all building weapon damage build, then build Crusader Hydraulics, and that means take less weapon damage overall. So that is kind of your counter building options. But apart from that, you can pretty much follow the build as is. Alright, now let's break down some gameplay for you guys. I would normally build this build as normal, but this was the perfect game to show off counter building, so I chose this game. They have a queen, and I saw she is going axe build, or I guessed she was going axe build, and because of that, I want to zone her off and her team off. I went the bubble to start off with rather than the electric circuit thing. So the bubble now is damage. I can use that to zone her off and her team off. And here I tried to force them into a choke to like make them come my way so I can abuse the bubble. This is exactly what they fall for. Queen comes here, I bubble her off. Breg is in the bubble as well. Breg comes in the bubble and dies. Me and Genji focusing on the same target worked very well. And I'm trying to avoid the queen's axe as much as possible, as if she gets the axe, that is basically our win condition, she wins. I think she missed like all of her axes. Thanks to that, just good spacing and good diving by me and Genji. We kill Freya, good target priority, and that is that fight. This next fight I'm doing the exact same thing. I'm just trying to force out the queen, you know, control space in my bubble. I get baited by Genji, and yeah, I pretty much go to 1 HP and jump out. But I think we lose this fight because we are one down. So we'll go to the next fight. This next fight, I know a lot of them have ults, so I just try be patient this fight. Almost overextend, but I know my team's got me. I see everyone's ults go off. I see Breg overextending, so I just play passive and kill her. And then my target here is going to be Zen or the Kree, because they are the best targets for me. I see we catch the Zen, I see our Genji going on Zen rather, and I dive with him, we kill her. And I think we just clean up the fight afterwards, cleaning up the Freya and the Queen. After that we notice it's at about 80% on the timer, so literally we just go aggressive with our ults. I had the worst primal of my life, but at least I created space for our Genji to get the kills. Next round comes along, round 3, and I now buy Circuit Breaker to synergize with Tesla Field, and I also get Phantasmic Flux with a talent modification, and all of this is synergizing together. Strategy is literally the exact same as every other round. I want to bait the queen in, and I want to bubble to really zone her off. She comes flying in, I do the bubble, and I get a bit too greedy here. I think I took too much damage, getting shot by Freya, but my team pops off, my team gets kills, so I decide to commit and go in to win the fight. This next fight, me and the Genji get an early pick on the cast. I see him on top by himself, try to bubble him off. I get him weak, and then Genji finishes him off shortly after, I'm sure. There we go. Now we're just moving the bot for free. I try to bait the queen off of the high ground. That means I can jump on high ground for free, which is exactly what I do. Then I see the Breg dash in, another dash is down, get her low. Me and Genji focus the same target, we get the kill. And that's us. We pretty much win this fight, I believe. Or we lose it. Okay, we somehow lost this fight, but you guys get the point. We did our jobs diving. And I think I eventually die. Yeah. They just won because of spawn advantage. Next fight, I'm trying to do the exact same tactic. Just bubble them off. We get the Juno ult, which is the massive advantage. Cleanse the Queen ult. Honestly, I think this fight was kind of just carried by my DPS and supports. Really good ult usage. I believe this last fight is going to be a bit of a 40-second slog. I think I don't hit the greatest primal here, but we'll see. Yep, just primaling because I thought I was going to die. So just literally just pushing them back to create some space for my team. That gets Bob a kill. Now one of our sports dies, our Genji goes too far. I jump in and cast his face and get Panda hammered like an idiot. However, the enemy team has a long way to push, so we do get another fight. I jump in their back, create some space. We do Kasune, creates even more space, and the queen just gets destroyed here by our team. Transcendence is not up in time. That was a waste of bubble there, but you know, we still win because we have the advantage. The queen is dead, so big advantage for us, easy win. I'm skipping forward to round 5 now because I believe this really showcases the power of the build. But you guys are beginning to understand, I'm sure, now the playstyle of the build. You can either brawl their tank in the face, which is especially powerful once the build gets online with anti-heal later on at round 5, 6, 7. Or if you take the bubble first, you can really brawl the tank. And the other playstyle is to either jump past the tank, especially if they have the Orisa or Sigma, jump past the tank and then zone off their backline. Zone off the supports, zone off the DPS. If you take the attention from both the supports and DPS, then that gives your team so much space to work with. So it's a pretty similar playstyle to that of base Winston and base game. But here, I bait them into me. Once I bait them in, I bubble. So that's me controlling a ton of space now. And that gives my team some picks. The queen misses the axe, so that's a free game for me. I just walk forward. And then I'll look to clean up, finish them off. Exactly what we do. Freya's by herself. Finish her off. And that's it, man. The build is online. The team is taking advantage of the space I'm creating. The Genji's diving with me. It's like we are just running them over with this now. This is how you play the build. Especially when you have maps like this that give you high grounds to work with. The queen can't get to me. I'm waiting for them to come in the choke. I'm trying to try bait an axe. And just jump away. My bubble's in the choke. I'm zoning off the team, is zoning off heals. And I see Zen by himself. I probably could have done a better job killing him here, but the Zen dies anyway. And that's us, we won the fight. So shortly after that, the queen tries to get aggressive. The Brig is going in. I see Brig going in by herself, so I just bubble her off. And that means my team takes less damage. She goes in by herself and dies. We killed the queen as well, and we just clean up this fight real quick. But yeah, now it's coming up to final fight. My job here, or my goal, is to make this as hard as possible for them to touch point. So I'm just waiting for them to come to choke here and to really like make it hard for them to go to point. And I think they might have gave up by this point. It's like really discouraged. Queen axes them twice. She realizes she's dead and can't touch. And that's the game. Alright guys, that is the Winston build. I think that is his best build so far, honestly. I haven't been able to make any other builds that have been better than this. I think his punch build feels kind of mediocre. His ability power build feels kind of mediocre, like his primal jump pack build. Yeah, I think those builds will be better once they are buffed and the items that go with those builds give more stats and stuff. Kind of like how the other tanks were. A lot of the other tanks, when they came into Stadium, their ability power builds were kind of like mediocre, especially, you know, Diva, Reinhardt, all that stuff. I think they will be better once they get buffed. But for now, this will be his best build. But yeah, if you guys have been able to theory craft any better builds, then I'm happy to discuss it. I'm always like, I love this sort of stuff. One of my favorite games is Smite, which is a MOBA where you really build your characters with items, and I just love that sort of stuff. So if you guys have found any better builds, feel free to share them and discuss them below in the comments. I love to hear about stuff like that. But yeah, let me know how you guys get along using this build, how it goes for you, and yeah, have fun, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more. Follow me on Twitch for more streams. I'm going to be streaming on Twitch soon. But yeah, see you guys in the next video. Peace.